Howdy, y'all. I am at the Port of Houston. Going to take the Sam Houston boat tour up to Buffalo Bayou. The Grateful Nation remembers during World War II, the Port of Houston produced 208 Liberty merchant ships, which became part of the United States Merchant Marine. These ships transported crucial materials to war zones throughout the world and engaged in military support activities, which resulted in the loss of 7,980 American lives. The Grateful Nation remembers those who sailed the ships and manned the guns during that critical time in this nation's history. It is in memory of the merchant seamen, U.S. Navy, Armed Guard, and U.S. Army transport personnel who made the ultimate sacrifice in the achievement of final victory for the United States and its allies, that this historical marker is respectfully dedicated. And here's another historical marker for Constitution Bend, and there's the boat, Sam Houston, and a big ship over there. Constitution Bend now Houston's famous ship turning base in this bend in Buffalo Bayou was named for the Constitution. First steamboat to turn around here in June 1837. At the time, Houston was less than a year old. It was serving as temporary capital of the Republic of Texas, which was itself barely more than a year old. According to one story, the town's founders, John and Augustus Allen brothers, paid the captain of the boat $1,000 to make the trip as a publicity measure. The trading vessel was approximately 150 times 24 times 8 feet in size, with one deck, no mast or round stern, male figurehead, and a cabin on the deck. The Constitution's trip up Buffalo Bayou was not easy. Lines were run from it to trees, and the boat was laboriously hauled forward by windlass and ran around twice. At one grounding, famous pastor Thomas Jefferson Chambers, patriot of the Republic, had enough time to visit a friend on shore. Upon their arrival at Houston, 35 of the 150 pastors memorialized the captain for his landmark voyage. The exit of the Constitution was no more graceful than her entrance. She had to back down the narrow bayou until she reached a spot wide enough to turn, and the name of this bend records that event. And then there's another two more historical markers over here. There's like four. There you go. This is Houston's Deepwater Port. So as early as the 1820s, ships began using Buffalo Bayou to connect Harrisburg, now part of Houston, to Galveston Bay. At the Gulf of Mexico, as more people came to Houston, a deeper waterway became apparent after Charles Stewart, U.S. Congressman from Houston, brought attention to the need for work along the bayou. In the 1880s, U.S. Representative Joseph C. Hutchison championed a bill allowing for the Committee on Rivers and Harbors to survey the waterway. Congressman Thomas Ball led the delegation of the survey tour, and they agreed that Houston was destined to be a seaport. The destruction of Galveston's port during the Great Storm of 1900 created increased pressure for a larger and safer inland deepwater port. During the early 1900s, Thomas Ball tried to convince Congress to support fully a deepwater port for Houston. Business and civic leaders joined forces in 1909, allowing Ball to propose a Houston plan in which local constituents offered to pay half the cost of the deepwater dredging. Congress accepted the offer, and this cost-sharing agreement set a precedent for funding of future federal projects. Work began in 1912, and the 52-mile-long Deepwater Channel was officially opened November 10, 1914. By 1919, Houston was the second-largest spot cotton export port in the U.S., with exports growing exponentially each year. During the 1920s, business along the port grew, bringing new industries such as paper mills, motor fuel refineries, and the first container terminal along the Texas Gulf Coast. Houston's Deepwater Port transformed a fledgling community into an internationally recognized center of commerce. And over here is a sign about, they say, the first ever some kind of water cleaner called Water Shark. Port Houston's Waste Shark. One of it is the first of its kind in the United States. The shark is a large drone with an underwater opening or mouth that can gobble up hundreds of pounds of waste in a single trip. This other historical sign over here was about some guy with Texas history and business and industry. But this is the boat I'm going on a little bit. Sam Houston Boat Tour of the Buffalo Bayou, Houston.